Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Zoe Rhiannon and I really like plants. I am currently in my apartment, which will only be my apartment for 1 more month, and I'm moving neighborhoods, I'm moving house styles. So I currently live in the West End, right off of downtown Vancouver. And I'm going to be moving to East Vancouver, which is the neighborhood that I grew up in. It's a great neighborhood to be in. We're going to have so much more space, backyard for a big garden, which I will also be posting lots about coming up. But part of that move is that I need to move all of my plants. I currently have around 40 containers of plants. Last I counted, as I'm sure many of you know, moving plants is difficult. Because some of them are more or less temperamental. I'm not sure if they're all going to make it or not. I thought I'd give you a tour right now of the plants that I have. You can kind of see what condition they're in. And hopefully in a few months we can do another tour and see how they're doing. Okay, so we're gonna start with this whole front window area here. For the most part, these are plants that I've propagated myself. So this little dude, this cactus, was actually given to me by my mom. She's had a version of this cactus for longer than I've been alive. So it's around 30 years old, I think. And when I first got this, it was a clipping I took of the old original cactus. It was around this high. And I clipped it off from the old stem, so it's pretty dead. We let it dry out and we transplanted it into this cup. I'm so happy with how well it's coming along. I actually bought this guy over a year and a half ago when I first was moving out here in Vancouver. This is a clipping of an inch plant that I've transplanted. We're gonna meet the mother of this inch plant in a little bit. These are succulents that I've been propagating. So these all came from the same single succulents that I was given by my good friend Holly. This here, another inch plant, and my most famous plant, this is Icarus here. This whole plant and any of the green inch plants that I show you during this tour all started from one clipping I was given by a plant shop, my favorite plant shop here in Vancouver called Vicar's Garden, and the clipping was smaller than this little head of the plant. So you can see I just recently moved this plant back into the sun. There's then some more new shoots coming out there. There's another one coming up right there. I also wish I hadn't transplanted it as soon, because I found that with the inch plants, the more confined they are, the bushier they'll get. So this friend here, what you can see is really just going for it, was actually just this one original shoot. You can see here that this end is actually dead, and it's this whole original frond here. So this plant originally was gonna get transplanted with the rest of this inch plant into this container. Inch plants are really temperamental and they break very easily. So in the process, this one leaf got broken on both sides. So I put it in a cup of water and then put it in this cup, and it's just been going wild. It's probably one of the best propagation stories I have. And really just a great story of, even if something looks like it's dying, give it a chance, give it some water, give it some light. This is chicken hen succulents, propagation that I have from some that I bought a year and a half ago when I was first moving out in Vancouver. They haven't been super happy in this cup, so hopefully we'll find one they like more soon. More interim propagation, more from Icarus. So again, all of these little green guys came from that one little clipping I got months ago. This is a string of pearls plant, which I bought around a year and a half ago when I first moved into this apartment. And you can see that it is huge now. And you can see there's even new growth coming up at the top there. So I'm really happy with how it's been doing. I took some clippings from it. I kept them in water for a while until they grew roots, and they've been growing in this cup. You can see there's some new growth starting here finally. It's also hard. It's January, it's cold, the sun's not out much here in Vancouver. This is another inch plant that came from Icarus, doing really well. You can see lots of little shoots coming out here. This guy, I was gifted this plant, talking about this one right here, from a family friend on Hornby Island this summer. It was originally just this base here. I have no idea what it is. I've searched it in a number of different like find this plant apps. If you know what it is, please let me know. I'm so curious. Here I also have a number of other cacti, and they all seem to be doing kind of okay, not awesome. So hopefully we'll put them in their new home soon and they'll be happier. This is more hen and chick succulents. They're just the ones that I got when I first moved here, and these are all out of babies that I've transplanted around. More of those original hen and chick succulents. So there's a few of them here, and then a few of these around the side. The same cuttings I was given for Christmas by my friends last year. Okay, so I also have 2 poinsettias. I have one right here on the floor, and I have another one over here. You can see they're dropping a fair number of leaves right now. They both come from my work. We had them for Christmas, and then when the season ended, my boss said I could take them home. So neither of them were very happy when they were at work, and they haven't been super happy since they came here either, but we'll see how they go. Poinsettias actually will keep living all year if you take care of them. Here I have this ivy plant. So this was given to me by my mom, again, as a small clipping. It was also given to me with this one. Ignore all the cards everywhere. They were both pretty small. They're both around this size when I got them. So you can see this one's grown a fair amount. I keep having white mold develop on the pot. I keep washing it off and trying to clean it and sanitize it, but it hasn't been working very well. If you have any ideas for how to deal with that, please let me know. This one's been doing pretty well. I keep moving it though because I'm not quite as happy with the growth as I'd like to be, but also it is winter right now, so it's not going to be growing as much, which makes sense. This is a spider plant in a Bailey's mug, which is hilarious. They don't drink. And this spider plant was actually gifted to me by my friend Carson. She clipped it off of her larger plant. I kept it in water until it had roots and then planted it here. This is a clipping from my Philodendron Brazil. It lives in my bedroom. These clippings I took a few months ago and then kept them in water before transplanting them. This is some more clippings that have actually been transplanted. So you can see here that they're in soil now, and we'll see how they're doing. And I have some more of the interim here that are just waiting to grow roots. This dude here is my Boston Fern. It's been doing so-so since I got him. The first couple of weeks that I had him, I noticed that a lot of these little individual leaves were falling off. We found out pretty quickly that it was covered in these little tiny green insects. I'm not sure if they were turned to moths or whatnot. I took them all off and put them outside. It's been doing much better ever since then, but it was a pretty rough start when I first got him. This is a pothos. It's actually pretty special to me because the clippings for this pothos were given to me by my good friend Carson and from my brother. It's actually two different mother plants that we have in here together. These were just little tiny clippings when I first got them. I kept them in water, let them grow some roots, and over the last few weeks it's really been coming along. Pothos is a great option though if you're new to plants. It doesn't need a whole lot of sunlight. It can dry out a lot and still be okay. So I'd really recommend it if you're not sure if your plants are ready for you yet. This is a peace lily. So peace lilies are pretty famous. They were on that NASA list for best plants to purify the air. They're beautiful, they're dark green, they're big and leafy. As peace lilies need more water, they'll actually droop a lot and tell you they need more water. And then when you water them, they'll perk right back up. Here I have another poinsettia and it's doing much better, so I've been taking care of it the whole time. And this one was actually grown in Burnaby in a local greenhouse and wasn't flown in as a plant. Hopefully I'll make a video in a little bit about the flower industry and how awful it is for the environment. Here I have some more clippings from the inch plants. They fall off every time I water it. The not so happy part of propagation. This was a jade plant in here, and I'm not sure what this one was, but they were both given to me by family friends on Hornby Island, and they weren't very happy when I got them, and I wasn't able to help them survive. So just want to be really honest with the fact that not every plant you get is going to be happy, especially if you're taking them from clippings. In these teacups, you can see I got little succulent babies I'm going to give away. So these cups have gravel at the bottom, so they have some drainage available. So I'm just waiting for them to kind of settle a little bit more before I give them to a friend. This is where I do a lot of my propagation. You can tell there's not much soil right now because I haven't been doing much recently. That's where I get the babies before I transplant them. This is the mother plant. So a lot of those inch plants that you saw earlier, all the purple ones came from this amazing beauty. This was bought by my partner's old roommate. And he was having a hard time taking care of it. He didn't think he had room inside for it, so I got to take it home. Beautiful dark purple color. The one thing about this plant though is that it does need to come down to get watered because I'm not tall enough obviously to water up there, and every time I move it, it drops leaves. They break really easily, so that's why I have so many clippings all over the house. Here on the windowsill, this is a south-facing windowsill. More of these inch plant clippings. There's just a cup of water there. It's the jade plant, which is doing actually kind of okay now. This is another clipping that I was given. I really wasn't sure if it was going to make it. It wasn't very happy. This is some new growth you can see coming in, so I'm really hoping it's some turnaround. This is another dude. I have no idea what it's called. If you know, please let me know. It's been really happy since I got it. It was only around this tall when I first got it, so hopefully it continues to be happy. Another variation of a jade plant, just doing quite well. And the last ones here are just some succulents that I again transplanted. Some were not doing as well, some of them were doing quite well. This was another gift, and you can see there's lots of little babies. On top of my fridge, this is a Philodendron Brazil clipping that I'm just getting going. So these were the first clippings I took off of the plants in my room, which we're going to meet in a second. It took a long time. These plants have actually been clipped on both ends. The tips were actually clipped off as well. So it's taking a long time, even though they had roots before I transplanted them, to actually have them be happy as transplants. But you can see here, this is new growth coming in. There's also new growth right up here. There's another one right there. So it is doing quite well now. It's just taken a little while to kind of get it to a point where it's been happy. The last few plants are in my room. Please excuse the total mess that it is in here. Here, trying to crawl into my bed, is my Philodendron Brazil. This is one of the first plants I bought when I moved into this apartment because I knew that I didn't want to just propagate them. I wanted to have one that's already pretty bushy and pretty nice in the room. All of my Philodendron Brazil clippings have come from this plant. It's done super, super well. So easy to take care of. I've already trimmed this one 2 or 3 times. And this is how big it's gotten. Another clipping of my inch plant. This is another variation of a jade plant. I've had this for months now sitting in my room. This is actually for my brother. I was given this pot by my mother because apparently he really wants a succulent in this pot. He doesn't have it yet, so hopefully I will remember to bring it to him soon. Okay, so there you have it. You've now met all of the plants in my apartment. As you can probably see, a lot of them are the same plant. A lot of them are clippings that I've taken from one, transplanted to make new ones, or things I've propagated myself. So this is a really great example that you don't need to actually go buy a lot of plants to make your house feel like it's full of them. And you don't need to go out of your way and drop a lot of cash to make your house feel more warm and get all the benefits from having plants around. So once again, my name is Zoe Rhiannon. I really hope you enjoyed this video. So the new house I'm moving into is a huge backyard. So stay tuned for videos all about that process of choosing what plants we're gonna grow, planning out the garden, and how we're putting together the plan for that. For today, please give this video a thumbs up if you found it interesting or helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you find this kind of content interesting. I'll hopefully be posting more about movement, nutrition, environmental well-being, the importance of sustainable lifestyle for all aspects of our life. Hit the notification button if you want to know when I post more things, which will hopefully be regularly, but we'll see how often it happens. So have a great day, and remember, what's best for you is what's best for the planet.